Most of us love to travel, but in this COVID-affected world of ours, international travel at the moment can be unsafe and problematic. Fortunately, we can still travel through reading. I'd love you to join me in 2021 for my Tea with a Book Addict. Some gorgeously illustrated Zoom talks which will take you to a fabulous range of places through novels and stories that bring alive 12 different countries, their peoples and their history. So take a trip around the world through great fiction. Learn about the remarkable men and women who often broke new literary ground. See the landscapes that inspired them, and discover how fiction can be intimately connected to a sense of place. You won't need a passport or a visa. There's no long flights to endure or hotels to find, currency exchanges to make. Through the magic carpet of Zoom, you can come with me on a wonderful journey through literature. These are the places that we will be visiting. In January, we go to England with L.P. Hartley's fabulous novel, The Go-Between. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. That's the memorable beginning to this haunting novel, set in a hugely class-conscious, structured England in what is a seemingly peaceful country just before World War I. In February, we go to the Karoo in South Africa. Olive Schreiner's The Story of an African Farm is regarded as one of the first feminist novels, and it's an unusual story of 3 children growing up on a very remote farm. We meet them as children, and then we meet them again as adults. And when that novel was published in 1883, it immediately attracted controversy for its portrayal of feminism, premarital sex and pregnancy, and even transvestitism. It's a fascinating novel, and I hope I will introduce you to perhaps something you have not read before. Let's travel to Scandinavia in March with Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. Pippi lives in Sweden. She's feisty, feminist, and she fights injustice. That little girl with red hair, freckles and plaits has made her way into millions of hearts in the form of the original book and the many film versions. There are even Pippi Longstocking theme parks. So learn about the very unconventional and I think very strong woman, Astrid Lindgren, who created Pippi, and discover how the much-beloved tale came into being. Our next book is one that I'm sure is familiar to many of you. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee is adored around the world. The novel won the Pulitzer Prize. It creates simply the very best lawyer in all of fiction, and yet its topics of rape and racial inequality have also made it a controversial and a frequently banned novel. Did writing To Kill a Mockingbird allow Harper Lee to live up to her stated aim of being the Jane Austen of South Alabama? What makes To Kill a Mockingbird so powerful? Join me in April to find out. In May, we stay closer to home with a much-loved novel, 7 Little Australians by Ethel Turner. In an era when fiction was supposed to be about good children, Ethel Turner dared to make her 7 Aussie children naughty, getting into constant scrapes, and sometimes getting away with those scrapes. In 1994, 7 Little Australians was the only book by an Australian author to have been continuously in print for 100 years. Come with me to discover why this book is such a beloved classic. In June, we visit one of my favourite cities in the world, the glorious Scottish capital of Edinburgh. We follow teacher Miss Jean Brodie, who is in her prime. Miss Brodie mentors 6 little girls and tells them they are the crème de la crème. But what damage does she do to them? And why is Muriel Sparks, the prime of Miss Jean Brodie, such a brilliant and unsettling novel? ranked amongst the 100 best books of modern literature. In July, we go to exotic India with Vikram Seth's A Suitable Boy. One of the longest novels ever published in a single volume, this story is set in post-independence and post-partition India, and it sweeps magnificently through history, the caste system, love affairs, land reforms, religious strife and politics. It's a rich, complex, wide-ranging and very moving novel, and you really feel that you're in India as you read it. We return to an older classic novel in August with Alexandre Dumas' magnificent The Count of Monte Cristo. I think few novelists have been such master storytellers as was Dumas. This great tale of love, imprisonment, revenge and political intrigue captivated readers from the first moment it was published and has delighted so many millions ever since. French society, French history, landscapes and characters are all brought alive so memorably in this fabulous book. In September, let's pay a visit to the beautiful Irish capital, Dublin. It has been said that were the city of Dublin to be suddenly destroyed, it could actually be recreated simply from the detail in James Joyce's great novel, Ulysses, which all takes place on one Dublin day in June 1904. Join me in following Leopold Bloom on his amazing wanderings through the city in what is one of the most important works in all of modernist literature. Be warmly wrapped up for October when we visit the snowy landscapes of Russia in Boris Pasternak's Dr. Zhivago. This intensely moving love story of Yuri Zhivago and his beautiful nurse Lara is set against the backdrop of climactic Russian history. There's war, revolution, travel, social upheaval, the disintegration of families, and so much more. So come with me to the vast, snowy landscapes of Russia in this powerful, magnificent novel. In November, we travel to a sunnier place. That will be Sicily, where we'll have a look at The Leopard by Giuseppe Tomasi di Lampedusa. This book is the story of an aristocratic Sicilian family. Their fortunes are fading rapidly, and it's considered one of the best historical novels ever written. Sicilian society, Don Fabrizio and the members of his family, they are all so vividly portrayed, as is their crumbling home, their crumbling finances, and their lifestyle. And of course, the book resulted in a superb movie version. And lastly, I'll take you back to my original home country, New Zealand, with one of the world's greatest short stories, The Doll's House by Katherine Mansfield. The story is set in Karori in New Zealand, and it's deceptively simple, but it's wonderfully evocative and deeply memorable. Join a little group of children in a Kiwi playground with their jam sandwiches, and see for yourself the painted doll's house that causes so much competition and the little lamp that forms the moving heart of this wonderful story. Do come travelling with me next year through Tea with a Book Addict. All you'll need to do is click on the link that we provide and join the talk. But if you can't join on the day on which the talk is scheduled, don't panic. You'll be sent a link a few days later and you can enjoy the illustrated talk at your leisure. I would love you to come travelling with me in 2021 through some truly magnificent novels and stories.